Metro Boomin said he tired of y'all sounding the same. We gonna dig into it. Welcome back to the Kenyon Along Show. It's your host, Kenyon Along, in the building, aka now known as Type the Ghostwriter. Performing this Saturday at Molly Malone's with my brother Rob Rico is his show. Another spot in LA. Unk out here on the stage again. And I'm performing one of my own songs. I don't know if I'm doing a new song yet, but on stage with my fellow state brothers, Metaphor the Great, Rob Rico. We on stage again this Saturday. Pull up Molly Malone's. I'll have the details in the link in the description. And of course, man, new freestyle, actually new behind the scenes song that I am a brand new track I'm working on, new behind the scenes on my TikTok. And of course, you can get stuff exclusive that I'm working on behind the scenes. The rest of that be on Patreon. Join the Patreon today, man. Get some of those rapper reactions as well that I can't put all of them on YouTube. All right. So make sure you check that out, fam. Appreciate you. You already know what it is. Ghosts. All right, man. Here we go. Metro Boomin, man. I like seeing this, man, because Metro Boomin did something brave. He put out this nostalgic. You see what I got? You see what I got? The honey smacks on. You see I got the tall tee. I got the tall tee on, nigga. Got the tall tee on. Money smacks. Now, the youngers out there saying for them, this wasn't tall tea time. This was a time right after tall tea. My youngin, who's like 32, 33, he said, this is my time. This was my time. But as Unc over here, I was out there. I was out there snap music and everything. I'm from North Carolina. So I was out in ATL, man. So I like this album, man. He put all of the classic artists from that moment on this album. It's a brave album. All right. I do want to get to that, but let's get to the tweet real quick. It's time for music to get back regional. Social media got everybody trying to do the same thing. Let's get back to actual culture and region identity. And I'm definitely got a take on this. I got a take, boy. You stick and stay. All right. So the album definitely, man, is super brave because you got a lot of stuff going on. This is the futuristic era, aka this futuristic summer. And Metro Boomin put some of the classic Atlanta artists that was, I don't know, you want to characterize this as snap music, but as they say, it was a little past snap music, a little past them franchise boys, just a little bit. But Roscoe Dash on their WAKA FLOCKA, on their Young Dro, who always do their thing. He always does his thing. Man, it's just a lot of classic Atlanta artists at that time. We talking, I think it was 2010 to 2015. I think they're saying that. I think that's what it is. And this is more like 2000. This is more like 2000. You know what I mean? But it's okay. I'm just doing it for the show. So that's what it is, man. I enjoyed it, man. I was walking out to it. My birthday was last weekend. I was turning up to it with my youngster. I'm like, man, some good saves on there. I like the Roscoe Dash song. I'm just like, man, just brave to put out. Now, we know the 2000s sound. It is hot right now in these streets. All right. It's hotter than the Nicki Minaj tweet. All right. When you talking about her husband, it's hot. It's hot in these streets. It's hotter than the, Meg Thee Stallion after party. All right. When she got plenty of liquor in that system. So the 2000s, young rappers out here are going for the 2000s beat. They trying to say that, Clip's new album, I don't think it really sounds like a 2000 beat. I think Pharrell does this kind of bare bones productions to make it simple and easy, but I don't think that's 2000s. Now, I know you guys don't like to say this, but I like to say, what's your dude name? The white dude, $1 Million Baby. That Tommy white dude, I want to say he kind of ushered in the 2000s, to be honest with you. He ushered in that 2000s beat. I'm trying to think about somebody right now. I know there was a kid on TikTok last summer, before Tommy Richmond, that he had put out this 2000 type beat. And I don't know the kid's name. I don't know why I featured him on, I don't think I featured him on our show, but Dirty College Radio. But he was rapping on top of a beat. He was out here in LA. He's trying to bring that Pharrell Neptune's beat back. So I did see him do it. I think that was early last summer. but you know, he didn't really pop out. But that was a good track, fam. That's a good track. Forgot your name. Shout out to you. So very brave for Metro Boomin, young Metro, putting it out there. Now, there's some controversy with this. It is which one controversies, but I believe this, and this is gonna be short and sweet. But your unc at a time when I was a young rapper coming up in them North Carolina streets, and I was snapping. Your boy still out here snapping off like a Slim Jim. And I think for me, for being from North Carolina, when I got a chance to ride with somebody in the car, and we went to Atlanta. All right, not even, and I don't even want to tell you this, not even when I went to Atlanta, this is why they say rap is for the youth, because kids got a lot of time on their hands to discover music, basically, right? Adults got bills, all right? Adults got bills and got a wife or got a husband, all right? So, but I think that what it is that I remember as a kid, just like, being able to have like the other stations online, other stations on the radio, let's just say that. And it'd be like, oh, I got Sway, he's playing West Coast music. Oh, I got this station that somehow came through and they playing New York music of artists I ain't never heard of. And I'm just studying these artists, and I got to learn all these underground New York artists that I love. Then I got to learn all these West Coast artists that I love. And I like going, when I went to Atlanta, you heard songs that wasn't on the radio. Still to this day, Atlanta does that. They play on their radio, all right? Still play mainly other stuff, but like after 8 o'clock, they playing stuff locally from local rappers right now that probably in the strip club that you ain't never heard of. And that's what I like. If I drove to Tennessee, I want to hear Tennessee rappers. I want to hear how Tennessee rap. Now, I never made it to Florida until a couple years ago. So, but, of course, I knew about Trick Daddy, Slip and Slide, all of them, and Deuce Poppy, all of them, right? JT Money, right? And I want to hear how Florida rappers rap. All right, we know how New Yorkers rap. New Yorkers, the most cockiest rappers in the world, of course. We know hip-hop started in the Bronx. But the most cockiest rappers I battled against, most cockiest rappers of all time. For a reason, though. For a reason. All right? And West Coast rappers, West Coast rappers sound like West Coast. And I just think Bay Area rappers sounded different. All right? People from New Orleans. All right? Little Hot Boys. All of them down there. BG. All of them sound like No Limit. All of them sound different. They from that region. Then you had, I listened to a track the other day. Dirty. I think Dirty's from Alabama, I think. Dirty was rapping, and they was from somewhere. And then you had Chicago. You had Twista. They was rapping fast, and Crucial Conflict. Okay, then you had 3-6 Mafia, and they was rapping a different way. I ain't like that. We ain't like that on the cross stuff. We really wasn't feeling that in North Carolina. We ain't like that devil stuff. He's like, yo, they devil worshipers. We really didn't like that. But we started eventually getting to the music. But I was just like, why are they showing these devil worshipers? That's what we were thinking. Why are they in the source? So I just telling you right now, that's the feeling you get when you drive across the country or when you start listening to music online from different regions. Now, I know North Carolina, we have a mix, and I kind of represent that mix a little bit. It's like we down south, but we are influenced by New Yorkers too, so we bar it up. So you get a J. Cole or you get a P.D. Pablo. You see what I'm saying? And so you get a mix of both. Either, and J. Cole lived in New York, I lived in New York, but I was rapping with the accent like this, but then snapping as well, not to compare myself to J. Cole. And there were other rappers that I had on my radio show from North Carolina, where you find some that we barred up heavy, New York type, and then you had some other ones that was down south country type. So we are a great blend. I just think North Carolina, a great blend of both New York and down south type of rappers in a North Carolina rapper. But, shouts out to North Carolina and South Carolina too, of course. All right, so I just think that's the best thing. Then all of a sudden, I'm just telling you as somebody who worked at Sony, record labels, they just do whatever's hot, right? They just do whatever's popping. They want a single like that. And as a rapper, we try to, make music. Of course, you can do something, jump into somebody's lane. Biggie did that. He started rapping like Bone. We was like, oh, shoot, I remember that. I was like, yo, Biggie rapping fast. I remember that. Even though Jay-Z rapped fast, like Biggie was doing Bone style. It's not stealing. You're paying homage. When you take somebody's line, you're paying homage to them because it was a dope line. Jay-Z, you made a hot line. I made it a hot bar. All right, so hot song. So, when you take somebody's flow, you're just borrowing it. They got popular with it. You're using it. If you rap like the Migos, dugga, they were rapping like that. All right, they came out with that kind of style, and you choose to do that flow because the beat talked to you, and you had a Migos type beat, then you would do that. Okay, it doesn't matter. Timberland type beat back in the day, you would do that. A Dr. Dre type beat. My demo was when I was in college and I was shopping for a record label, and I'm picked to open up for 50 Cent. My demo was just West Coast sounding beats back then. That was early 2000s. And so Eminem, 50 Cent, they were all, I said, okay, me and my manager's like, oh, let's get this West Coast type beat. They not going to really know you from North Carolina, and you just I'm an artist. I make music that's going to be on the radio. You trying to chart. So if the label sees that I can write these hits, make this chorus, then I want to be slid in like Dr. Dre, 50, you know what I mean? Like 50 Cent sound, that was our thing. But New York labels, they just didn't understand. They just, that's how labels are. And then the young kids, you guys just started just taking the whole style and keeping it. And I just hate that myself, Metro. Now, the problem is people don't like it because Metro's from St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? Metro, you may live in Atlanta. All right, I live in L.A., but I ain't L.A. All right, I'm not L.A. I've been in L.A. for a long time. I ain't L.A. I'm North Carolina. I said on stage. I said on the stage last time, I'm North Carolina. You hear when I talk. The L.A. people, the L.A. girls, like, where you from? You ain't from L.A. I could tell. So I represent Harley Home, always repping. So these kids just start doing whole projects, taking whole styles. Not even Drake. Drake dips in and out. All right, we already talked about Drake being ashamed to sung of rap. All right, I already told you about that. But these youngins just start taking what was popular on the radio or streaming and just took over whole styles. You just became that whole artist, even though you're from the West Coast. And that's my thing with Jello. Like Jello, you ain't from New Orleans, bruh. All right, you ain't from New Orleans. You ain't got no people. Maybe you do, but for all I know is you from Chino Hills, where the white people are. All right, and the sprinkle of black people that got money all up in there. So that's my thing. And youngins like Jello did just take a whole style, and that's just you, right? Detroit, they been rapping their way. All right, Detroit been rapping their way for a long time. Detroit got a distinct style, and also they got that meme rap that took over, like BF the Pac-Man. All right, so you got some meme rap in Detroit. Of course, you have Eminem doing his thing, but you got this other T Grizzly type style. And they rapping fast. They rapping. They kind of rap talking over it. They getting offbeat a little bit. And that's like Detroit, though. Okay? Now, I grew up on Slum Village. And Elzhi, one of my favorite rappers. All right, Royce da 5'9", Eminem, Elzhi. Okay? For me, Detroit. All right? And rest in peace to Dilla. But those are my favorite MCs from Detroit. And, of course, Big Sean, too. I like Big Sean. Dope MC. So, but rest of Detroit, those are the minority. The rest of Detroit, they got this whole new Detroit style. And that's what I like. I want to hear what you sound like. You choose a down south song for the strip club, that's cool. But I want to hear your region. I want to hear things that you saying in your region. All right? You from St. Louis? I want to hear you rap like St. Louis. I want to learn stuff about what you saying in St. Louis. I learned stuff about what Ice Cube was saying. And I said, he said M&M's, neck bones and M&M's, what I thought as a kid. Neck bones and M&M's. I thought that's a stupid. And then when I moved to LA, I was like, yo, you going to M&M's? I was in Hawthorne, I think. Found out M&M's is a soul food restaurant. I was like, Ice Cube said he got neck bones from M&M's. But you learn about your region. You know what I mean? You got to put on for your state. You ain't got to always shout your state out, but you learn that from your style. You develop your own style. So I think that's what Metro's saying. Even though you from St. Louis, even though they said you're supposed to be doing songs with Sexy Red, all right? Atlanta influenced you. You got hooked up. You got on with Atlanta. You got on with Future. I get it. You're a producer. You produce. All right? So that's what good producers do. They produce. A good artist makes the music, but you also want to make sure that you have it for your region. So that's what it is, man. I went a little extra long on that. But you guys let me know in your comments below. Let me know. Is Metro right? If young Metro don't trust you, you already know what's going to happen. It's the Kenny Alone Show. Check out the next videos.